Hey there, I'm Kevin Downey from Kevin M. Downey, continuing our video series on business development for B2B sales and business development representatives. This is video number 3, what your process should look like. Business development. We've talked about what business development is, what it's not. We've talked about building prospect lists, in this case in Apollo.io. But in this video, I'm going to go pretty quick on this one because I think most owners, leaders, sales leaders, marketing leaders, as well as reps, experienced reps anyway, have a pretty good handle on how to do this, but I'm going to kind of cover it and maybe simplify it in a way that just kind of builds it into pieces and step by step, okay? So when we talk about manual business development, where we're talking phone plus voicemail or boots on the ground, the purpose of what we are doing initially is ultimately we're trying to find customers, right? In order to find customers, we have to find the right person that we need to talk to regarding our products or services, which is our decision maker, right? Identifying DM. But we also have to find out if they have a pain point, right? Whether or not they buy our products or services or something comparable to them already, which certainly makes them a good target. Doesn't mean they'll buy, but it makes them a target, definitely a prospect, a good prospect, or that they have a pain point. They've got a need. They've got something they don't have, your products or services, and they could use them. Maybe could use them because they have a pain point. They have this thing that's bothering them, that's not doing well in their business or whatever, okay? So let's think about it from that vantage point and just that simple. Okay, so the first step is we need to identify the decision maker. I should type this out for people that don't know what this means. DM, for people in sales, understand that. The rest of you might think it's your DMs, in which I'm too old to even have any idea what that really means. But anyway, neither here nor there. Okay, so we need to identify the decision maker. How do we go about doing that? Well, we're going to take our prospect list. We're going to look at the number of people in the company because we're going to sort our list by company, whether we put them in Google Sheets, Airtable, Smartsheet, or we're using our CRM. We're going to look at all the contacts in the company with their titles, and we're going to go after the one that we think is the most logical starting point, the most logical decision maker for that department. Maybe the highest level person, maybe not, but the most logical decision maker. And we are going to reach out to them first. We might hit a receptionist, a gatekeeper, an office manager, an admin. We can ask them if we get them, right? A lot of the difference in business development now is the fact that those people have been removed in companies, or they don't do the same things in companies, answering the phone all the time anymore, right? Some companies, they don't have any. Some, they just don't answer the phone a lot. And some companies, they still do, right? Depending on what they do. But either way, we've got to make an outreach to a person or attempt to identify who is, if they are, or who is the decision maker for your products or services in that company. Okay? Very simple. That's the first step. Okay? When we do this, we get to that decision maker. Okay? I'm going to come back to voicemail. We want to find out if they have a pain point. Okay? If your products or services where they're already buying them, let's say, janitorial supplies. Okay. They're already buying, almost everybody's already buying janitorial supplies, right? So you are not their provider now. Somebody else is, your competitor, right? The pain point we need to find out about is whether or not they're unhappy with that current supplier, whether or not you can maybe give them better pricing, whatever. It could be all kinds of different things. And we'll dig into that when we talk about pain point deeper, but we need to find out if they're unhappy in that, or in a way in that regard, if they're a target, a prospect. If you are not a replacement, you are what's called an add-on. And there we have to find out if they have a pain point, as in, are they unhappy? Could they use help with something? Do they have a need? And I'm going to go through our pitch, for example. And that's what we're asking, right? Could they use another X, right? Sales rep or business development rep, all right? Now, when it comes to voicemail, this gets very confusing for reps, just like email is very difficult in B2B for so many companies, marketing people, owners, sales leaders. We are not pitching in email subject lines. We are not pitching in voicemail. Okay, I'm going to go through our pitch in a second. But when it comes to voicemail, your job is to get them to call you back. That's it. You're not pitching. You're not trying to sell them. You're not trying to close them. You're not trying to move the needle. You're trying to get them to call you back. That's all. So when we're working with companies, with clients, we will often dig into this with them, okay? This is something that you have to customize for your reps, okay? In our case, our SDR is calling and saying, hey, was calling to see if you could use a really good sales rep with background or experience in the industry. If you can, my name is Leo, call me back at phone number. Done. That's it. What can work there? They might think that Leo's looking for a job, that he's a rep that they could use. Don't care. Either way, we're trying to get a call back, right? We're not going to lie, but we certainly can be vague. In this case, we're going to be vague for the purposes of getting a call back. That is the number one thing you're trying to do with voicemail, okay? With your reps, or if you're a rep, that's what you're trying to do. Same thing with email subject lines, okay? All right. Now, when we talk about, pain point, what does a pitch look like? And what are we trying to do on a call? So this is going to be slightly different in the CTA part, depending on if you're a sales representative doing your own business development, or you're a business development representative doing cold outreach on behalf of sales team in such a way that you're trying to identify decision maker, you're trying to identify pain points, generate leads, you're trying to set appointments, right? So this process changes a little bit depending upon what you're trying to get to as a business development representative. But as a sales representative, the front end of all of this is the same, okay? Right? So what does it look like? We get to decision maker, right? Johnny, hey, know you're busy. Curious, it only takes, this is my rep does, right? Curious if you could use a really good sales rep with experience in your industry. Question mark. We don't even wait for them to answer because we assume the answer is yes, right? So we're going to jump from asking if they have the pain point to offering the solution in one sequence of language, of sentence, if you will, a couple sentences. Here's the reason. I'm sure you can't. The reason I ask, if they immediately say no or hang up or say no or give you an objection, fine, you jump in and you deal with it. But the reality is, in most cases, you can flow right into. Reason I ask, I work for Kevin Downey agency, and we source top tier sales reps with background or experience in your industry. They can be local in office, outside sales, or remote. Also have experienced remote reps who are ready to go starting at $1,000 a month base comp, okay? Then we're getting to what we are trying to do immediately, right? Because they're going to interject and maybe say something, okay? At that point, we've already offered the solution. Our job, in most cases for you, in our case, we're trying to go right to an appointment, but only because of the way we're set up and structured do we do that. In most cases, what we're trying to do is get them to agree to receive some information, because that's an easier thing to get with a call to action. But then while we're doing that, we are going to gather intel and move the needle, okay? So our pitch, or your pitch, in most cases is going to be a lot more like our cold email in getting them to respond yes, right? So our call to action is, if you'd like, I can send over different options I offer along with rate card. And then if you want to jump on a call, we can do that. Okay, why are we going there? Because they want to protect their time and money. So offering to send them something is a way for them to acknowledge that they're interested. They get to look at you without committing any time or money to you, which is what they're trying to protect. Okay, and that's what your pitch is ultimately getting to. Right? So we're going to offer to send info. We're offering a solution, and we're going to offer to send info with a call to action. So John, hey, what I want to do is I want to send over a little information on our agency, our rate card, programs we offer, and I'll give you my calendar. And after you take a look at it, if you're interested further, you can schedule a call with me, right? So that seems like an easy bailout. But why are we doing that as representatives? Because what we want to do is gather intel and move the needle. We're first trying to just generate the lead, right? So they're going to say, they might be trying to brush you off and get you off the phone. Say, sure, Kevin, go ahead and send that over, and I'll take a look at it, and I'll schedule a call if I'm interested. Great, John. Appreciate it. Hey, I'm sending that over right now. Could you do me a huge favor? It's John at abccompany.com, right? Great. Hey, I'm sending that over. Will you do me a favor and hang tight with me and check your email? Make sure you got this. All right, I'm sending it right now. But while we're waiting, This is where we insert a line like, while I have you. While I have you, let me ask you a quick question. How many sales reps do you have currently? Right? Do they do their own prospecting? Do they generate their own leads and appointments? Or do you have dedicated business development reps? Do you have marketing or anything you're doing that's driving inbound leads for your sales team? Okay. Is your sales team generating the leads they need to? Do you have reps that aren't meeting their numbers, aren't getting the new customers they need to, aren't generating the leads and appointments they need to? Okay, those are all the things we want to know and find out, because we want to see, hey, could they use a sales rep? Could they use a business development rep? Could they use maybe somebody in Latin America to support that US-based sales team to drive them leads and appointments, right? To make them more efficient. One of the things we're seeing in sales team structure today is a lot of reduction in sales team size, depending on the company. Little bit of reduction, maybe major reduction, but we're increasing the amount of business development that we are doing separate from that sales team. We're doing business development reps, we're doing high-powered email, we're doing maybe some high-volume LinkedIn stuff. Why are we doing that? Because we need these salespeople who are really expensive to be more effective, to be more efficient. We need to get ROI out of them. We cannot spend $90,000, $125,000, $150,000 in base salary on someone that's going to take 18 to 24 months in cold calling to build a customer base. Certainly not in small business and mid-market, a lot of mid-market. As we get into enterprise companies, they can justify doing that, right? So what we are trying to do is build a system that is efficient, that is efficient as well, in getting our salespeople to achieve ROI faster. They're getting more leads, more appointments, names of decision makers faster, so that we can shorten the cycle of business development, so that we can make things easier and simpler for them to get to whom they need to get to, right? Whether we're just finding out decision maker info, we're generating leads, we're generating appointments, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we have to do something to make them more effective with their time and more efficient, so that they are not sitting there doing research on the 50 people in that huge company trying to figure out who the decision maker is for the products or services that they're offering, right? Because that can take so much time, and it makes them very, very inefficient, and therefore the ROI on that rep is going down. Companies in small business certainly can't afford or justify that, okay? So what is a rep doing? They're gathering intel and trying to move the needle as the last step. So we're sending them stuff. Hopefully they've received it while you have been talking to them, asking them questions. Confirm that they received the email. Hey, John, can you reply back to me? Let me know you got that email. Great. Okay, just really quick, while I still have you, where are you guys at with things, right? We're just trying to move and continue to move the needle in that conversation. And if we're sales, now we may be in sales mode. Because remember, business development is a marketing function. It is a function that salespeople do to find out decision maker and pain point. To that point, we're doing marketing. Once we find decision maker with a pain point, now we're selling. Right now we're in sales mode. We are trying to get paper. We are trying to write an order. We are trying to get business. That is on that first call. We want to take that call as far as we can, depending on your products or services. You have a catalog, get them the catalog. Get them to open the catalog. Get them to look at whatever the product is that you want to get in the door first. Whatever it is, right? That's what we're trying to do on that first call. If it's samples, let's say you're a video production agency. You're doing videos and you send them video samples, and that's your bait, right? Get them to look at the samples while you have them on the call. Who are you doing video through, right? What are you guys doing currently? How many videos are you doing a year? Right? What's it look like for you? Is your marketing team headed up? Right? Whatever. You're going through all of these questions to try to identify whether or not they're a really good prospect right now in a short sales cycle. And then we want to hit them with, hey, if you're an add-on, give me a shot. Give me, let's do this. Let's try to move things. If you're a replacement, see if they can give you one thing. So if you're video production, hey, give us one video. Give us a shot. Look at our samples. We're phenomenal. Let me get you a quote, right? Whatever it is. We've got to try to move the needle as quickly as possible on that call. And that's the advantage of reps doing humanized outreach, right? Whether phone and voicemail or boots on the ground versus, say, email or LinkedIn marketing, which really isn't all that effective anymore, right? High volume email can be very effective, but it has a stopping point, right? If you'd like, I can send over different options I offer along with rate card. And then if you want to jump on a call, we can do that. Thanks. If you want, let me know if you want me to send PDF and we can go from there. Very effective at generating leads, but it's limiting because all we get is the front end. We identify decision maker with pain point, but then we're done. We need to reply to that email, give them call to action, and then we need to call them, right? With a rep, doing manualized outreach, you have the disadvantage, you don't have the volume capability, but we have the advantages if we have them on the phone. We can move the needle on the call, and that's what we are trying to do. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, reach out to us, kevinmdowney.com. Final video, what I'm going to talk about is a little bit about following up, but more importantly, when, as a rep, when you use email and LinkedIn. And this is the part reps don't like to hear in this, but it's the reality of the situation from an owner or an executive perspective, what you should be doing or what reps should be doing as far as business development goes. Okay, thanks for being here. Next video coming up. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.